Hey, what's up, guys? Graylan Stewart here. I am going to give you exactly what you've been wanting. So, this is going to be a free, 100% free training, step by step on how to wholesale real estate. All right, guys, so let's get into it. So, welcome to my free wholesaling real estate training. Now, this is going to be a three-part series. So, you'll have video 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I broke it up into 3 videos because nobody wants to watch, 1 hour or 1.5 hour or 2 hour video. I don't know how long this is going to be, but to give you all the information and all the value and everything that you need step by step, I wanted to break it up so that you're not watching some long, boring video, okay? So while we're at it, let's go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it. I am giving you free info here, so the least you can do is hopefully subscribe, and I'd appreciate that a lot. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So again, welcome to my channel. Now, I am going to make some very strong promises to all of you during this free training, okay? Obviously, I will not be wasting your time. I'm not doing this to waste anyone's time. I'm trying to bring you 100% value so you can learn the ins and outs of this game completely free, okay? So I don't have anything to sell you at all. I can promise you that. There's no pitch at the end or anything crazy, okay? I'm just strictly giving you value. No fluff and all value, guaranteed, okay? And obviously, I'm going to give it to you all for free. So again, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It would help me out. And just think of that as your payment to me for giving you all this free information, okay? So let's move on. So why are you watching? Any idea? I mean, maybe you're a current real estate investor or wholesaler. I don't know. Maybe you have a job that you're sick of, the dreaded JOB. Some people have that as an acronym of just over broke. Maybe that's not true in your situation. I mean, when I had a job, I made $240,000 a year. So I wasn't just over broke, but at the same time, that job was still holding me back and keeping me from really making a difference in what I wanted to do in my life. Okay. So maybe you are sick and tired of fulfilling your boss's dreams rather than your own as an entrepreneur. And maybe you just have a strong interest in real estate investing or wholesaling in general. I will tell you that wholesaling is the lowest barrier of entry to get into this game. But the bottom line is you want to do better things, okay? Bigger and better things. You want more out of life, and you just want to get into real estate. And wholesaling is the easiest way to do that. All right, so a little bit about me, just to give you some background on who I am, why I'm even bringing this to you, okay? So my name is Graylan Stewart. I am originally from Oklahoma, but I currently do live in Castle Rock, Colorado. Now, I did go back and forth for about 8 years. I literally lived in both states. So that's kind of my story, the short of it. I do try to keep God first in every aspect of my life. I do love to travel. I go as many family vacations as possible, and me and my wife try to take a trip or two by ourselves on occasion. And sometimes we just do, father or mother with child, type vacations as well. We love to travel is the bottom line. But I will tell you that mindset is everything in this business and in any entrepreneur journey for that matter. And I do strive to be the best at everything I do. Obviously, I'm not the best wholesaler in the world. I'm not claiming to be that, but I'm striving for that. So I traveled the world, on the USA tumbling team from 1992 to 2000. So during that time, I did win 16 national championships and actually won the silver medal at the World Championships in 1998. That was part of the USA team that year, and it was a great adventure. Got to see a lot of the world. And I did graduate college in 1998, December of 98, with a bachelor's in health and phys ed. Now, I've worked 2 corporate jobs for about 12 years of my adult life after college. And then I obviously started my own business In 2011, my own marketing and advertising company. So I discovered wholesaling in September of 2018. So let me tell you how I discovered it and why. I mean, I was searching, I was burned out because I did that marketing and advertising gig selling yellow pages for almost 8 years. And then I started my own company, in 2011. So I'd done it for a while, 8 years, and then 11 to 18 is another 7. So 15 years selling to mom and pop businesses. I was just getting burned out and tired. So I was searching. So I finally discovered wholesale in real estate, September of 2018. And I did close 7 deals my very first month of wholesaling. So I discovered it in September, started doing the advertising and all that stuff. I closed 7 deals in October, which is not typical. And I actually made over 140,000 my 5th month in the business, which is pretty much unheard of. So that was February of 2019. And then I actually became a millionaire in less than 2 years. Crazy, I know. Obviously not just wholesaling, but obviously I started keeping rentals along the way as well. Okay. So now me and my team virtually wholesale all over the United States, and we are actually one of those true virtual wholesaling teams. So what do I mean by that? There's virtual wholesalers out there that virtual wholesale locally to where they'll have their whole entire staff in one building, so they're all in there together with their culture and everything else, which is awesome. There's no right or wrong way of doing this business, but we actually are a completely virtual team. I live in Colorado. I've got staff members spread out the United States, and I actually have my assistant is in a different country. So, so we are truly virtual wholesalers. Okay. Now, is your city the perfect real estate market for real estate wholesaling? And I will tell you, major cities, you're pretty good, okay? But real estate investing in general is all about location, okay? So I'm a very systems driven and strongly believe in automation and creating tools to make our lives easier. And real estate investing is no different. Obviously, if you have systems to help you out, things go smoother, okay? Most investors will pick their areas to invest in by choosing the areas they want just simply because they know them well. That's typically how most people get started, in their own backyard, which is great. But if you live in a little bitty town, you might want to rethink that, okay? Technically, they end up investing blind because they don't really know what they're doing. They just know that, hey, this is where I live, this is where I'm going. That's why 91% of investors fail, in my opinion. They lose money, go broke before they make it, and so on. So we don't want that to happen to you. That's why I'm bringing you this free training to make sure you do it the right way. Smart investors buy homes where they already know buyers are buying. Okay? I mean, that makes sense. Buy houses where you already know other buyers are buying. Okay? That means people are doing something there. There's activity in your area. Okay? So any idea what the hottest house flipping areas around you are? Any guess? Like I said, maybe you live in a big city. If you live in a big city, you're golden. There's most likely going to be good activity there. But if you're in a small suburb or some small town in a different state, you might not know. Okay, but you just got to look at the data. Okay, and this is exactly why we use DispoGameChanger.com. It's investor lift. Now, in our big city areas, we don't have to use that at all. And I'm not pitching that site at all. That is an affiliate site, but I'm not pitching that because I don't think you need that. If you're brand new to the business, you don't need it at all. But I'm just letting you know, if we get a deal in a small town, we're going to go to DispoGameChanger.com just to look up that property and make sure there's buyers even there. But if you're in a big city or there's a big city around you and that's where your property is, then you don't have to anything to worry about, okay? So obviously there's different exit strategies in real estate. And there's 3 main ones, okay? Wholesaling, which is what this video and this whole training is all about. There's wholesale, okay? There's hotel, and there's retail, okay? What's the difference? We'll get into some of that later, but we're mostly talking about wholesaling, okay? That's what this training is all about. But wholesale and retail, you probably are familiar with. Wholesaling is what we're talking about, okay? Retailing is when you're rehabbing a property for a rental or fix and flip. And hotel is kind of blending those two together. You're wholesaling for retail, okay? Now, wholesaling is the process of putting the property under contract, then you assign that contract or resell the property to another investor at a higher price. That's wholesaling in a nutshell. For example, you find a house that you want to buy, okay? Numbers look good. You put the property under contract with the seller for $100,000, just for math and easy sake, okay? You instantly start marketing that contract, looking for a buyer at a higher price. So now you find a buyer at $110,000, so you can assign your original contract to the buyer you just found and keep the difference in the middle. $10,000 in this instance, with no money out of your pocket. You never closed on the property and you never had any risk. Okay, that's what wholesaling is. That's the beauty of it. That's why it's the lowest entry of barrier to get into real estate, because you don't really have to have money to do it. You just have to have a little knowledge. Okay. So look at this before and after picture. Obviously, it doesn't really look any different. It's different lighting, so it looks a little different because of that. But the house itself, as you can see, is exactly the same. Sure, there's a little bit of trash and debris moved off of the property, but other than that, it's the exact same house. Nothing's changed, okay? So flipping real estate without ever owning a house is technically what wholesaling is. Simple, right? Wholesaling real estate. So there's two ways. All right, I'm going to show you two different ways to wholesale a property. There's the wholesale assignment, and that is when you have a seller. Obviously, you have to have a seller to start this process. Then you, the wholesaler, are in the middle. You're the middleman making that money in the middle, and then there's an end buyer. So you get the property under contract with the seller. You're the wholesaler doing that, and then now you're finding a buyer to take your position in that contract, okay? There's also the wholesaling double close. You got the seller, the wholesaler, which is you. Now you've got money involved, okay? Double close meaning you are closing on it as the wholesaler, whether you're using private money or transactional funding, or in some states, they don't even make you do that. They let you use the buyer's end money to fund the deal, okay? Nevertheless, we won't get into the weeds on that, but double closing, there's a seller, a wholesaler, money in the middle, and then a buyer, okay? And the reason there's two different things, a wholesale assignment in most cases, if it's $10,000 or $15,000 profit, most people are okay with somebody making that money, okay? Now you start getting into $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 assignment fees, a lot of times your buyer could balk at that or get upset that you're making, a lot of money on the deal, because they're the one putting all the money, all the work in flipping the property later. They don't want you to make a lot. That's why we have double closes. So in my suggestion, anything over 15,000, maybe 20,000, you want a double close. Okay, that way you just don't have any issues. It's just kind of keeps that secret until the closing's done. They find out later, but not beforehand. Okay. All right. So there's a major problem with wholesaling, though, and almost everyone is doing it wrong and or illegal. Okay. So the two major problems are they put a bunch of properties under contract, which they're tying up, the contract, tying up the seller to where they can't sell it to anyone else. You're kind of holding them hostage almost. And then you end up not being able to find an end buyer to wholesale it to someone, and then you don't close on the property. And you had an agreement to fulfill this contract, okay? And that's wrong, If you don't have the funds to close, then you shouldn't put a property under contract. Or if you know that it's a really good deal to where you pretty much are guaranteed you're going to find a buyer, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So the second way is they market, for their investors to buy. They do it illegally because they're actually marketing the house itself, okay? And you can't market the house that you don't own, okay? You need to be marketing the contract. That's why it's wholesaling. You're wholesaling houses, but you're really just flipping paper is really what it is. You're selling your contract. So you can't do it the wrong way. You can't market a property. You can market a contract. Or you're talking about that property, but you're saying that this is an assignment of contract. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So who gauges this and who follows through with all these guidelines? There is a wholesaling police, or is there? Yes, there is. Okay. It's your real estate commission, the local real estate commission that every community has. Okay. Now somebody could file a complaint on you, or they could just be out searching for people, doing things wrong. And that's exactly why wholesaling is already illegal in at least 2 states that I know of, Illinois and Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma, it just now happened recently. So those 2 states right there, you're not supposed to wholesale. And I think that it might be in another state or two, but I'm not real sure. But don't let that stop you, okay? So a lot of times in this business, you'll have limiting beliefs. You'll see something that's amazing and great, but your mind keeps you away from it. So that's why I said mindset is everything. So don't let limiting beliefs stop you from doing things, okay? But when you do it right, you can have big fat checks like this. I mean, check it out. This was February of 19. So this is exactly what I was talking about. I made 6 figures my 5th month in the business. Stewart Marketing is kind of the company that I was using, to close all my deals, because that was my marketing company name. That's the only LLC I had at that time, okay? And what if you could do 2 of them? I made $62,000 7 days later with another deal that we had. There it is, Stewart Marketing, and this was actually Stewart Title on this one, on this escrow one, okay? So wholesaling is just one way to make money in real estate. Is there anyone watching that is an excuse maker? Because there's always someone out there like that. Because real estate really is all about win-win situations. That's really what we're trying to do. That's the whole goal. It's a win when you're wholesaling a deal, because the seller obviously wants to sell the property for a certain price, okay? So you're giving them that price in our example earlier, $100,000. And, a buyer wants that property as well. They're glad to get a smoking deal from you for $110,000. So there's another win. And then you win because you made that 10 grand in the middle. But the winning doesn't even stop there. The title company wins too, because they're getting another deal they get to close on. And then your flipper is going to end up using all kinds of different contractors and places, to where everybody's winning all around. Okay. So how many of you are win-win people? That's the question. How many of you are willing to do what it takes to be successful? Because this business is not easy. I mean, it's simple in concept, because you get a seller, contract with a seller, you market that contract to searching for a buyer, and then you get paid in the middle, okay? It's simple in concept, but it's not easy. You got to be willing to do, to have dedication, to have grit, to do whatever it takes to make things happen. It's not going to happen on its own, okay? So now that's the conclusion of this video, but you got to watch video 2, because that's just kind of the basics of everything. So now you have a general idea of who I am and what wholesaling is in general. But now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, step-by-step, actionable tasks on exactly how to wholesale real estate. And if you've made it this far, don't forget, you got to subscribe, okay? That's your payment to me. That's your thank you to me. That's all I ask. This is 100% free. Like I said, there's no pitch at the end or anything like that. It's all value. So please subscribe, smash the thumbs up button if you haven't already, and even share this content to some of your friends or family if you want to do this alongside of someone else, okay? But anyways, thanks for watching, and check out video 2 right now.